Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Hello, everyone, and welcome to where energy meets the divine. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome. Please like and subscribe below. Thank you so much. Before we go to the phone lines, and if you haven't left a message before, you can go to energyintuitive.com or mariemanuchehri.com. You'll end up at the same place and get to the podcast page, and there's instructions on how to leave a voicemail. You get a free self-hypnosis meditation when you do that. And I so appreciate the questions. They're really fun for me. They bring me great joy. And I want you to know, for all of you who leave a question, you're helping lots of people who are maybe uncomfortable leaving a question. And then you're also helping people practice their own intuition too, because as you're leaving a question, they're even probably getting some hits intuitively. And that's really where we're going in the world, is that we're moving into this multisensory energy. Like, it's highly critical that we are in multisensory energy. That's how we're going to move forward, is with our insight. And speaking about insight, one of my favorite tools to manifest and keep one's energy elevated, which is critical, keeping your energy molecules authentically in a high vibration is critical, is to practice curious, positive, what if questions. I think most people know by now that I don't believe affirmations work very well. If you already have a positive belief about something, then go ahead and affirm it. Like, let's say you have a positive belief about your body. So you don't need a what if question. You already believe that your body is healthy. Then you can just affirm it. Oh, my body's healthy. It's amazing. I'm so lucky. Yay. But if you don't believe it, in my opinion, you cannot use an affirmation. It's not going to work. It could take years and years and years and years. But curious, positive, what if questions are not resisted by the ego. So the ego resists things that we don't believe in, that we're affirming as if we believe in it. The ego will just kick it out of the brain. Now, if you say something that's positive and curious in a form of a what if question, the ego is going to let it move in to your brain, recalibrate the subatomic particles in your brain. Those particles will move through the blood-brain barrier, go into the rest of your body, and calibrate the rest of your subatomic particles to the solution. So it actually works as if an affirmation is supposed to, but it also keeps your energy elevated. To be curious is fun. So let's say you don't believe that your body is healthy and you're terrified about health issues, terrified. Then a great what if question for you could be, what if my body is happy? When you're making a what if question, you want to be mindful of the language. You don't want to use words that are going to trigger you. My cat's decided to cry right now, even though he's been fed. Thanks, Ben. So hopefully he'll go away soon from the door. So you want to use words that are going to keep your vibration elevated. If people are having health challenges, the word health might lower their frequency. Anything to do with medicine might lower their frequency. So you want to play with the language before you start using the sentence that you've chosen for your curious, positive, what if question. Another example might be, what if you want to discover something that is fulfilling, that's a life purpose? You want to discover, and there are many purposes in life, many, many, many purposes. But I do believe for those people who like to work, that there's a purpose that's just for you in terms of work. I really believe in that. So you may not like the word work. You might like a different word like vocation. You might just like the word success. So if you are wanting to discover your life purpose, your natural gifts and talents, then you would use the what if question. what if I have discovered my incredible natural gifts and I am immensely fulfilled? And when you start using what if questions, you repeat them for several minutes. I like to repeat them when I am doing some other tasks like walking the dog or washing dishes, the occasional moments that I mow the lawn, things like that, because it's a distraction. The brain is what causes most of our problems for the human race at this time in our evolutionary process. And it slows down our ability to manifest because most humans do not know how to not think and analyze, which is an exhausting form of using one's brain to analyze and process information over and over again is exhausting. And then they don't have the energy to go create or allow themselves to receive whatever's in their highest good. When you use positive what if questions, the brain gets quiet. It relaxes. It's like you're feeding it, like Valium in a way. It just, or Ativan, it just relaxes. I've never had those drugs, but I'm just saying, because that's what those drugs are supposed to do. It relaxes you. And then when you are relaxed, you can raise your vibration and then you start to be plurific in your manifesting abilities. It's really crucial to use positive what if questions forever. I use a couple every day, every single day, and sometimes more if I need to. So if I have something weird going in my life, if you have something weird going in your life and it's annoying you, you don't know how to resolve it, great. Make a what if question. If you're having some issues with your partner or one of your children, you can say, oh, what if I easily feel loved, adored, and cherished? Because that's what all human beings want, is to feel loved, adored, and cherished. What if I feel listened to? What if I feel heard? These are beautiful what if questions that you can put into your life if you want to adjust even a problem at work or a neighbor problem or any other situation you might have with another human being. And what I'd love is if you would, let's say between now and next week, maybe the podcast at the end of the week, perhaps you pick a couple. Don't pick 20. Some people are just like, oh, I'm going to change my whole entire life right now. I'm going to pick 20 what if questions. I wouldn't do that. I'd pick a couple, maybe no more than 3, because you're going to have a lot of momentum and shift in your energy and you want to enjoy it. You want to start to notice what it feels like when things are changing. You want to start to become more conscious and aware of how powerful you are, of what it feels like to run your energy high. So let's enjoy these shifts and changes that we're creating in our life and not, feel like, oh, let me get 20 of them off. That's not very fun. That sounds exhausting to me. I would love to get a couple things in my life regularly in moving in a positive direction. If I have something, kind of a little quirky, so that I have the momentum and the energy to enjoy my life as much as possible. That's really one of the main reasons why we all came here, all of us collectively, old souls, young souls, is to actually find joy on planet Earth. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to the phone lines now. All right.
Hi, Marie. This is Courtney from California. I just wanted to ask a question. My husband was diagnosed in 2020, stage 1 prostate cancer, and I wondered if you can, give me any insight onto if he needs to pursue more healers or pursue any type of medical treatments. We have been working with healers and so forth, and so on over the last 3 or 4 years, and trying to figure out if we need to continue with that, or is it gone? Are there any, cancer cells still there? We don't know because we haven't had any kind of scan or check with doctors per se. We were just doing the alternative healers, et cetera, and just wondered if you have any thoughts on that, or if you can scan him. I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
Or any information, would be grateful for that. I believe, I'm believing he's totally fine, but I always thought we should probably figure out a way to check or double check that or get perspective from somebody who can scan him and see that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Courtney. And I'm so sorry about your husband's very early diagnosis of prostate cancer, which is good. I don't know his age, but the recommendation is for early forms of prostate cancers. They don't treat it actually, but I would have his PSA checked, his prostate stimulating, whatever it is, PSA. Maybe it's an autoimmune thing. I'm not really sure. I can't remember what the A stands for, but I would have his PSA checked. I would have it done routinely. I think that's just really, really smart. So prostate cancer is caused by feeling the mind-made emotion of guilt. Um, so, and your husband looks lovely to me and very sweet. I've treated many men on this topic, most of them successfully, like probably 98% successfully, because I was able to help them to stop feeling guilty. First of all, for some of them, many of them didn't even know that they were creating this mind-made emotion of guilt. And it could be because of someone's upbringing, certain types of religion, teach guilt. Sometimes men, really kind men, will just feel guilty for other men who aren't as kind. I know that sounds really weird, but it's almost, I think, because there's like this lovely hero kind of maybe traditional way that young men may think about themselves, and they can have great integrity and be wonderful people. And then if they see other men being very different, whether it's in their marriage or their job, they sometimes take it on, even though it has nothing to do with them. So here's what I would recommend. And this is in, I think, chapter 2 of Intuitive Self-Healing, the book I wrote. There's a whole little thing about it on the second chakra about prostate cancer. I would recommend that he put his hands around his belly button and repeat for like 10 minutes silently, I've always done the very best I could in every situation of my life. Because that's what gets rid of this mind-made emotion of guilt. Because guilt is not an authentic feeling. It's created by overthinking, analyzing, processing, reevaluating things that many times have nothing to do with the person. It's fascinating to me. So if you could have him do that, I think that would help. I do think there are still some cancer cells there, but minute or small. Yeah. So if you could have his PSA checked, because it sounds like you went the non-medical route. So that means he still has his prostate. You didn't have it removed, which is perfectly fine. Again, depending on people's age, and you sound younger to me than the cutoff. I don't know what your husband's age is, but if his age is close to yours, I'm not sure what age it is that they don't do any treatment for prostate cancer when it's in the early stages. But I would just have his PSA checked again. That's what I would do. And thank you for asking me. And I'm sending beautiful light to you guys. I have a positive, good feeling about his recovery. Okay, thank you.
Marie, my name is Yuvi and I live in Colorado, but I am originally from northern Mexico. Since I was a child, I knew I was gifted, but tuned out because I was afraid, and also due to religion and societal norms. Nevertheless, I have always been attracted to spirits, healing, the occult, and nature. I'm trying to connect with my guides because I see the synchronicities that they share with me. My question is that I want to know, what are my gifts to communicate with my guides and align to my highest purpose? I am attracted to the work that you do to help on Earth.
Great.
By doing Reiki and divination, but I am completing my undergraduate degree in accounting, and so I'm just torn between these two I guess paths, like I am in a fork in the road, and I realize that I can't go wrong with one of them, but I know that the one that has to do with like divination and helping others in that way can be more intrinsically rewarding.
Yeah.
I'm just struggling with like standing in my authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
because I have just been so used to people pleasing, and I'm just afraid of what my mother and my husband and my friends would think of me. And yeah, I want to become attuned to my gifts so that I know, um, like, am I going in the right direction? That kind of thing. Um, well, thank you, Marie, and thank you so much for the work that you do.
You're very welcome. And you're showing us perfectly how people overanalyze and process. You're lucky. You have two things that are interesting for you. I would finish your accounting course. You're young, you have your whole life ahead of you. There's nothing wrong with a backup plan at all. I think that's smart. Um, we know how many energy workers we need on the planet, millions more than what we have right now, and healers and people with all kinds of awarenesses, because a lot of humans are waking up too. And like people, I don't even have a calendar open to see clients. Many people who have been successful in the healing arts or the medium arts or the psychic arts, they're kind of all to me the same, because I have all of those gifts, as I think many people do. Just some people will like streamline into just one for some reason. I don't know why. Um, is that we get busy, just like anyone who's good at their job, you get busy, and we can only see so many people at a time. So I would finish your accounting degree. I don't have a negative feeling about it. I think it'll make you feel confident and really good about yourself. And then why care what anybody thinks? You should only be concerned with what you feel about yourself. I don't think it's healthy for anyone to make decisions about themselves or what's next for their life based on how other people may or may not feel about it. When I first started to do energy work, I was married, and I did not tell my children's dad what I was up to. Didn't tell him for quite a while. I think I was worried that he would say I was crazy or, something like that. And then finally I told him, I don't remember, because I needed a whole bunch of equipment for the house because I was going to move into that business. I knew that. My guides were clear with me on that topic. And he was actually really helpful. When his friends, relatives would come in from another country, he would come into the office with me if they wanted a session, and he would translate for them my words as I was doing energy work. So it was very helpful. I think this is a great what if question for you. What if people surprise me by how much they trust me and honor my choices? I think that's a great what if question for you. But I don't think there's anything wrong with finishing your accounting degree. I have a good feeling about that too. You might do two things for a little while. And remember, we need a lot of healers on the planet. You already know you have gifts. You know that you like it. That's all that's needed, really, in my opinion. I hope that's helpful. Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Sinead Malloy. I am from Dublin, Ireland. We had a hard 6 months last year. I had 5 deaths in 6 months. My mom, and then 3 months later, my younger brother, my mother-in-law a month later, my beloved dog, and then a cousin. I lumped the dog in, I'm sorry. But I'm really asking about my brother. He was my younger brother by 7 years, and he left behind a partner. She was Canadian. They were living in Bali, and 2 children, a 4 and a 6-year-old. He was the most incredibly funny, bubbly, hilarious, generous guy. Out of all the deaths, I just can't. I've come to terms, but the ache is incredible.
Aww.
And I know he's fine, as everyone does, but I can't stop thinking about him. And I'm just wondering, I have lots of questions, but I won't torment you today about myself. But I have the one question is Gavin fine? Is he having fun up there? I know you're probably the answer, but just to be reassured would be lovely. And if you don't pick up anything, that's fine too. And please come back to Ireland and do a few courses. I'm sure you have a great following here too. You'd be most welcome.
Oh,
And yeah, I really love when my notification comes through. You're wonderful, and thank you again from Ireland. Bye bye.
you're very welcome. And as soon as I read the contract from the hotel, then we can give out the dates when I'm teaching the retreat just outside of Dublin. Love Ireland. I could live there. It's beautiful. And so are the people. So your brother, and there aren't that many people who feel the way I'm going to describe him, because when people leave their body, it just feels so amazing. And I don't mean to say that he's not happy. He's still kind of fixated on Earth. There is this weird addiction with creatures who leave Earth to be addicted to it. I'm not kidding. There's a lot of people in the fifth dimension, which is the heaven for our Earth. They just hang out there waiting for all their family members to pass so they can go do something together, I guess. I'm not really sure, because there's so many dimensions. There's so many places to hang out in. So it's very weird to me. But he misses his family. I think perhaps because his family was young, he misses them. And it's a little hard for him. That's a little hard for him. I'm having a mental telepathic conference with him right now. So when I translate, I'm translating, whatever I'm being told or shown or what I'm feeling. And then in some cases, many, many cases, but certainly right now, I'm having a conversation with your brother because I want him to enjoy himself a little bit more on the other side. And so he's not responding. I mean, he's looking at me, he's smiling, but he's not responding back to me as of yet. I've asked him, because it almost feels like he hasn't really stepped into spiritual classes or, spiritual awarenesses that he could have on the other side, which are pretty simple and easy for those who cross over. But I simply said to him, I go, why don't you start visiting all your loved ones in their dreams? And he just looked at me like he hadn't heard that before. I mean, it's a pretty common thing for people on the other side to do, is they come and visit their loved ones during a dream, and people go, oh, I dreamt about them. I dreamt about my dad last night. And I'll say, no, your dad was visiting you. That was a real visit. And he's smiling right now. It's almost like he got a little bit disoriented after he passed. I'm going to go look at my notes again, because I think you said it was a period of years that things were challenging. So I don't know how long he's been gone, because some people can get disoriented. Some people can even spend time in the astral plane, which is the field right next to Earth. I call it the fourth dimension, where heaven is the fifth. And sometimes people will just hang out in the fourth dimension. Sometimes because people are confused, and then some people become ghosts. Your brother's not a ghost. He's actually crossed over to the fifth. But it's almost as if he just got there, which he didn't. So maybe he spent more time in the fourth layer of the auric field. Maybe he didn't quite believe he was going to die. Or, I think that's it. He couldn't quite believe he was going to die, which is a lot of humans don't think about death, which cracks me up. It's like a natural part of our temporary life here, is that we leave our bodies through what we call death, and then we cross over. I think your brother, either he never considered it, he never thought it was going to happen, regardless of how he died. And he got a little confused. And he is kind of nodding to me. So out of all the people who cross over, I wouldn't put him in the super happy camper side. He's not in the super sad side at all. There's occasionally people who are like that. He's above the middle. So he's content and has moments of joy over there, but he misses his family. And, everybody gets to have their own experience, right? So he's given me a thumbs up about this idea, which seems a little foreign to him, about visiting his family members in his dreams. So be prepared for visitation. And I think all of you are going to have a lot of fun with him. Okay. I hope that's helpful. I truly do.
Hi, Marie. This is Emily calling in from the Hudson Valley in New York. I'm calling today because I'd love your guidance on a work-related question. My work is I'm a clinical psychologist, and I have a specialty in trauma work, and I really enjoy my work. I have for many years with patients. I think I'd like to expand. I've already started to, to bring in more of my own multisensory, let's say, gifts or intuitive psychic awareness into my sessions with patients, and potentially also help them develop some of their own, senses, so that they can use them to help them in their own lives, to help guide them and heal. I guess my specific question today is, is there any message about what I particularly might be best suited to tune into in terms of my multisensory gifts? And then how might I bring that into my work with my patients? I have a lot of general ideas about it, and in certain ways I have already, but I'm still learning a lot from you and a few others. And I'd love to know if there's any messages about how I can tune into it, potentially my gifts in this area, and how I could bring healing to my patients with some of this awareness. So anything in that category, I'd be so excited to hear any guidance that you have. And thank you in advance for your response. I really appreciate everything you offer to all of us. I've just learned so much from you, and I'm super appreciative. So thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Emily, for everything you do in this world, your patients and the world. We're very lucky to have you here. So thank you so much. What I heard as you were talking is that you have the gift of knowingness. I mean, that's what every professional psychic wants. We don't really care if we hear something, if we see something, if we feel something, if we smell something. We just want to know. And you have knowingness. It's actually what has made your career as successful as it is, because you have a knowingness about your patients. What I heard after that is that you need to trust it more. So intuition, for many, many people, it's kind of like a train. It's like, maybe that's not quite the best analogy, but I see this image of a train moving through a tunnel. And let's say the train is your psychic ability. It's some sort of representation of your psychic ability. Let's say that. And once the train clears the tunnel, you get more psychic ability. You get more information. So what happens for you, because you don't trust it, and I think it's so effortless for you, you think it's supposed to be more complicated or more difficult, but it's actually really easy, especially when you've been utilizing it consciously or unconsciously in your professional work and probably other areas of your life. So the more you start to trust it, and as you're communicating with your clients, you can say, well, I see this, I hear this, I feel this. Describe how you're experiencing it, because that's you honoring your intuition, not your intellect, but your intuition. And then you get more. As soon as you allow it to release, you get more and you get more and you get more. Just like when I was reading for our last caller, her brother, there was a part of me that didn't want to say that he wasn't a super happy camper on the other side. There was a part of me that didn't want to say it. And honestly, it's not something I experience every day, but I have experienced it before. But I knew that if I continue to hold off and keep looking around for some sort of other information or waiting for other information, I knew that if there was more information, it's not going to be released. So I said what I said. And then I got to see that, or remind the audience, or maybe inform them for the first time, if I haven't before, that I have this mental telepathic conference that's between me and the person on the other side, that's sometimes separate than the translation that I'm having as we're having a conversation. So what I'm trying to say is, get through it. Don't sit back and analyze it and process your intuition. Let it out, and then more comes. And then what I think would best help your clients at this time, and this is true for everyone, help them to stop thinking, help them to stop analyzing. And that's why you want to, you've always been this way anyway, where you have been working in the emotional response system with your clients versus tons of talk therapy. I mean, talk therapy is important in small amounts, but the rest of it is really emotional. And so teaching your clients to further ignore their mind and to recognize that it is just a logical tool, just like today I had to make sure I had water here, that I plugged my headphones in, that the mic was on, just all these logical things that we have to do, but they have very little, if anything, to do with intuition, which is 1,000 times more accurate than the logical mind. Okay, thank you so much.
Hello, Marie. My name is Shayla. My question is, I'm going through a bit of a transition. 2023, I had all my elders pass, basically. My mother, my father, my aunt, and a very good friend, and adopted his puppies. The friend, they've never been able to find the will. That's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
What is my question? I was very fortunate to spend the last 2 weeks with my mother, and there when she passed with my brother and her good friend, which feels very peaceful to me.
Yeah.
And I believe I made the right choices, and that has led me to become an end-of-life doula. I also had an injury in 2023 that was shocking and has put one part of my career on hold. And I have had healing through that. So I'm kind of wondering about my direction. Moving forward, I feel like I'm supposed to do a little bit less as far as, not putting in so many hours, but I'm trying to figure out exactly how to move forward with my offerings that connect to spirit. I guide yoga, I'm a breathwork facilitator, as well as the doulaing, which is new, and I'm a sign language interpreter. So really, I guess it's a sort of broad question of stepping in the right direction, moving forward for myself and with my lovely little family of fur babies and my partner. Thank you.
Hello, Shayla. I'm sorry about all these people who crossed over in such a short period of time. And your friend, I don't think there's a will. If he started one, he didn't finish it. So that means there's still not a will. You got to sign it. You got to date it. It has to be notarized. There has to be some document that's been completed, but I don't think there was one. Very few people actually make wills, which is kind of interesting. Even people in their 50s and 60s will procrastinate for making a will. So I don't think there's a will. What I heard as you were talking about what's next for your offering is that it would be best if you would work on not people pleasing. You put a lot of energy out to make sure everybody's okay. I think it's exhausting. I don't think it's healthy for you. It's not in alignment. Old souls do not need to learn more about compassion other than self-compassion. So I really want you to sit with that, get curious about it, make some what if questions. What if I'm in alignment for myself solely? What if I'm okay with feeling selfish? Because I think that older souls are in alignment when they feel selfish. I truly do. It doesn't mean they will be selfish. They're just going to feel selfish because old souls are overly compassionate to others and under compassionate to themselves. And to discover what's next or what would be super fulfilling for you is going to require you to be very invested in yourself and not think about anyone else. When people are choosing a career path, you have to be really connected to your own passion and happiness, not, oh, this would help people. Oh, more people need this, or wouldn't it be lovely if we had this in the world? No, 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 no. You have to be, ooh, what would make my soul light on fire? So that's what I think. And again, I'm sorry for all the loss that you had. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Priscilla. My question for you is, am I an old soul? And I feel like perhaps I am because I've been such a caretaker in the last 15 to 20 years of my life. And my friends, my girlfriends say that they like being with me mostly because I bring them so much joy and bring laughter to their lives.
Yeah.
And so I'm just wondering, am I an old soul? Love you, Marie.
I love you too, Priscilla. Yes, you are. Very few young souls will be attracted to my podcast or other spiritual type podcasts. They won't be, it's not interesting to them. But as an old soul, you're not supposed to be overgiving, over nurturing, taking care of others. You have to learn to have a completely different life experience that's based on your own personal happiness. And a lot of old souls will say, well, if I'm taking care of other people, I'm happy. And that's that's an old paradigm, an old answer. We want you in new vital life force energy where you are not thinking about other people as you're making decisions that bring you authentic happiness. And luckily, that will help the world in some way. And it will help the world in ways that you could never even possibly imagine. But it's going to take you backing off from taking care of other people. So that's going to be interesting. But yes, you're an old soul. Old souls reincarnate to Earth collectively. That means with a general mission. All the old souls who come to Earth come here to learn self-compassion, which they tend to suck at, by the way. I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
Hello, Marie. My name is Rowan and I'm from Belgium. But I have a question about something that I've been feeling for years and I can't quite figure out. It's about my work, or the daily energy that I put in things. And at this moment, I've been a teacher for a long time. And although I enjoy parts of being a teacher, I struggle very much with the educational system, and I struggle very much with working for somebody. I don't think I fit in the 9 to 5 box, or like the typical work box, if you will. And I've been really very much drawn and been investigating and been putting a lot of time and energy into exploring the spiritual side of life. I've been doing like the psychic abilities classes, mediumship, tarot cards, energy work, energy healing. And I've been changing over the last years very, very much. My consciousness has been going up. Which makes it even more difficult for me to keep working at the place that I'm working.
Yeah.
And my question is there, although like a lot of it interests me, like psychic abilities and the mediumship and the energy work, I haven't been able to find like the thing, or I haven't been able to put the puzzle pieces together to pull me towards that direction so I can change the service that I bring into the world and make it more fulfilling to my heart and my soul and to my authentic self. So that is my question. Do you have an idea what the next best step could be for me? Or do you see things lining up for me? Or is there maybe something I should really keep my eye open for, so I don't miss an opportunity? Anything that can help me there would be so nice. Thank you so much. I wish you the best day.
Thank you, Rowan. I think I said your name correctly. I hope so. Well, you are a 9 to 5 person. You worked 9 to 5. You still are. I mean, you've been devoted and dedicated and highly committed to your teaching career. So you have been working a normal, structured, 9 to 5 job. But it's okay to not want to do that anymore. Like, there's nothing wrong. We live very long these days. There's nothing wrong with going, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. And it doesn't matter what the reason is either. You don't even have to have a reason. You don't feel energized by it anymore. It doesn't feed you passionately. That's a sign. Whenever that happens, that's a sign. That's how I make decisions in my own career and why I've been able to maintain success and to grow within my career is because I filter out those things when the energy drops. And not the first day, just like you haven't left yet and you're confident that this is not what is in your best interest. But after a while, when the energy is low for something, then yes, we need to do something else. So I commend you. You love the mysticism and the spiritual realm. You do need to run your energy higher. And it's challenging when you go do work that you don't want to do because it drains one's energy. And then you come home and rest to build your energy back up to normal. And then you probably have tons of tasks you have to do: grocery shopping, cook food, clean, all the stuff that we have to do here on Earth. I spent quite a few hours today buying food for the animals and food for myself, and then putting it all away and then cooking, like that took hours today, hours. So perhaps you can start running your energy higher, maybe with some beautiful what if questions. What if I'm in alignment with my destiny? It's a great what if question. What if I am building my energy because I'm willing to be thrilled with my future? What if I'm on the right track? What if everything is working out for me? Versus any negative, curious what if questions. Those just lower vibration. And humans are notorious of having lots and lots of negative, curious questions. And they don't help at all, not even slightly. I can't quite see exactly what it is because you haven't elevated your energy enough. I would love it if you do a bunch of what if questions, like what if I have discovered my multisensory talents? But I do think you're in the right specter or section of what's next, the multisensory world. I would not get caught up in what it is. Like, what if it's a bunch of different things? What if it's not just one thing? And that's another thing that I really caution people when they start to work in the intuitive world, is to not just be a medium or not just be an energy worker. Just be open. I still like to think I have no idea what I'm doing. I prefer that because it allows me to be open and allows me to have all kinds of really cool personal experiences while I work, but also helps my abilities to expand and become more rich and diverse and accurate and effective for many more people, because that's one of my joys, is to affect many more people than I have historically. So you're on the right space. Stop trying to figure it out. Try these new what if questions and get some rest so you can run your energy elevated. And be okay with the career that you've had. Nothing's wrong. Maybe you're leaving, a decade later than you should have, which lots of people do. If it's not their work, then it's a relationship they stay in for way too long that's exhausting them. But at the same time, everything happens at the perfect moment. It always does. So you're on the right track. I hope that's helpful.
Hi, Marie. My name is Judith. I'm from Everett, Washington, and I actually had my cousin recommend your podcast because she is a Reiki and energy worker. During our last session, she was saying that she felt like I've been ignoring my intuition for a really long time, And I feel like I have always been very intuitive and into spirituality. But as of lately, I feel a little bit lost. I graduated from university last year almost, and I got my English degree. I'm a single mom, and I also am trying to be sober for the second time. I'm about 4 months sober this time.
Great.
And so I've been doing a lot of inner work, trying to get past some old childhood trauma that I've held on to for so long. And I'm also single, sober and single. And so, yeah, I just wanted to ask you for some guidance on, like the podcasts are really helpful on helping with my intuition, but maybe just some guidance on how to find your purpose or what mine might be. If you pick up on anything, that would be great. But yes, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Judith. No dating till you're sober a year. That's the recommendation. No dating till you're sober a year, because it's too confusing. It's too much emotional wackiness that could make people, have an extra glass of something. I did hear it's so interesting because you're doing some healing work and you're making great progress, but you want to jump to you want to jump to 14 steps ahead when you're still in this highly nurturing aspect of yourself. And it's necessary so that you don't feel discombobulated or disoriented. You're not lost. It's just that you're changing. You're different. You've been detoxifying, all kinds of interesting, lovely, wonderful things. I think you're right on track. I heard that it would be fun for you with your English degree, if you want to, is to consider doing some technical writing, for some of the tech companies like Microsoft or Google or Expedia. Do some technical writing for them as a consultant or a contractor. You don't have to actually work for the company. I think that would give you some freedom, but to do some technical writing. And I think it would be super easy and simple for you because it's not as complicated as the beautiful writing that you like to do. But I think it would give you some, because you could be working and I don't know, but give you some work in the world that your education is allowing you, that you don't have to spend a lot of time doing it and be paid well. That's what I think. But you're still in this healing area. So here's what I would like for you to do. And then things can start to change rapidly, is to have quite a bit of internal self-appreciation talk. Like, I love you. You're an amazing person. I adore you. I want you to just have this kind of on automatic pilot in the back of your head all day long, just super, super kind, loving, nurturing. Even when I was shopping today at the grocery store after I bought, cat and dog food, and as I'm going up down the aisles, I'm going, good job, honey. So nice. You're buying such good food for yourself. It's beautiful. I know you're hungry right now, but thank you for shopping. Humans are so mean to themselves, very, very mean to themselves. And often we're taught that, even if it's unconscious, we're taught that by kids feeling the energy of the people who raised them and their own self-criticism. Not so much us being criticized. I mean, that doesn't help either. We can be criticized, but children pick up on the energy of people around them. And if the people around them have a lot of self-deprecating thoughts, then kids just automatically pick up on it. I think that's going to help you move really rapidly. I think you're very intuitive. I mean, I'm hoping that you become a writer and write beautiful books that even allow your spirituality and higher levels of consciousness to come through. That's what I'm hoping for you. But you can do whatever you want. You have a lot of potential and opportunities, but we need inner deliciousness happening regularly. And it's for the rest of everyone's life. So it's not something we just do for a month or a week or a year. It's lifelong, forever and ever and ever. I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
My name is Shelley, and I am calling today because I am very concerned about my teenage daughter. She's 15 years old, and she just entered high school this year. She is struggling academically, and we have her going to a tutor 4 hours a week, and also a Spanish tutor, and doing some other things to support and supplement her academic progress. She is a Girl Scout. She dances. She does all kinds of things and loves her friends, but I'm concerned that her friends are not good for her. We have had experiences of late of her using and making bad choices for herself. She has engaged in vaping, which I think we put a stop to. But just last night, she had a friend over, and when I went back into her room, there were 2 full water bottles of alcohol. Mm-hmm. And it just really startled me to the point where I took today off, because I am so concerned about her safety and her well-being. And I'm just trying to find the best way to handle this. And I'm very spiritual by nature, and I find it that I want to help her. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to overreact. I want to stay calm, but I want to stay firm. Mm-hmm. Anyway, thank you so much for any guidance you can provide. I appreciate your help. Blessings to you.
Thank you, Shelley. And I'm sorry that you're going through this right now. And I think everybody can remember that I said that mostly old souls listen to this type of podcast. Old souls are not good at setting boundaries. They're too nice. They're too generous. I mean, I think there needs to be consequences to your daughter's behavior. Like if she's going to, like that friend isn't allowed. And we don't know if your daughter brought the alcohol or her friend did. I think they're both equally guilty. You have this interesting perception that your daughter is this innocent person who just arbitrarily gets in these weird circumstances. That's possible, but that's not how I feel. I think she's just as much of an instigator as her friends. And you guys are way too nice. Way too nice. I'm not saying be mean and yell and scream, but I think there needs to be consequences. Like you don't get your laptop or your phone unless it's schoolwork related. If you drink alcohol or vape or anything else, and she doesn't get to hang out with those friends any longer. Like you got to like, you have to set boundaries. I also think that your daughter is not an old soul like you. She's not a young soul. She's a medium soul, from my perspective. And medium souls are, I think, the most challenging. Young souls, you can figure them out really quickly. You know, they just don't have a lot of knowledge. But medium souls think they know everything. Of course, she's a teenager, and teenagers tend to think that anyway. All of them, most of them. But there needs to be consequences. And then you have to follow those consequences so that she realizes that, you know, while she's living in the family home and you are responsible for and paying for everything, I think kids need to be told this. Like, you're living in the house, we're providing this for you, we're paying for everything, so you can't do these things, right? I know that sounds mean or silly, but it happens to be the truth. When she's living on her own and paying for her own apartment, she can go ahead and do whatever she wants. And when she has her own money and her own job, that's different. But she's living in a family home, and there needs to be rules and there needs to be consequences. You guys might want to think about getting some family therapy together, but not from a too nice therapist. Yes, too many people give kids, I think, too much freedom. And I'm not saying that children, I think everyone deserves to be free, but kids are developing their brains. Their brains are not even fully developed until they're 30. That's why when parents give their children so much freedom, I think it's a mistake. I don't think people should be super strict and unkind and have too many rules. I don't believe in that either. But if kids are continuing to make decisions that are not in their best interest, then they definitely need more guidance and they definitely need more rules. That's what I personally believe. That's what's going to keep them safe, going to keep them home and away from people who are probably going to, perhaps create more issues for them or vice versa. So she's only allowed to hang out with people who do not do drugs or smoke, since you found this to be a problem for her and she's been struggling a little bit academically. And when she is found to be vaping or drinking, then she loses her phone or she's grounded. And that's like for real. Like, you're not grounded for an hour. You're grounded for a weekend. You're grounded for a week. Can't go anywhere. Stuck. So pull up your britches, you guys, you and your husband, and stop being too nice. Please. You don't have to be mean, but you can set boundaries and follow through. She will value it and appreciate it when she's older. I promise you. Okay. Thank you everyone for listening. Have a great day. Bye-bye.